Hi there, it's me Audrina Lane again, and I'm here to read to you today chapter 39 from Where Did Your Heart Go? Upstairs in her room, Charlotte rang Mitch. He must have been waiting, as the phone hardly rang before he picked up. "Hi Charlie," he said, and she smiled as his lovely deep voice filled her ears. It had been less than 24 hours since they had parted, but she was already counting down the hours until Friday. "Hi Mitch, how are you?" "Fine, thanks, and you?" "Yes, just been at dance practice. We're rehearsing every evening this week and next until the competition, to make sure we are as perfect as we can get." "Yeah, we're doing the same up here. I'm aching already and it's only Monday night." "Me too. I've discovered muscles I never knew I had that could ache so much," Charlie said, imagining Mitch's fingers spreading massage oil all over her body. "Yes, I could just do with you giving me a massage," Mitch replied, and she gasped, his words perfectly matching her thoughts. "I was just thinking the same thing." "So, the video clip is in your emails now, and I've sent it off to the organisers, who are hoping to make a decision by Friday. So I have to keep our phones handy," Mitchell said, excitement bubbling in his voice. Holding her phone, Charlie got up so she could check her emails. "So, what's the plan this weekend?" Mitch asked. "Oh, lots of dance practice, but I'm sure we could fit in something a bit more relaxing and fun." "Did you have anything in mind?" Mitchell replied, and she guessed he was grinning and thinking of getting her naked. "Cinema perhaps, or a club," Charlie replied. "Oh, and by the way, Mum said you can sleep in my room." Her mind shot off in the direction of what they had got up to the previous weekend. "Excellent news. That spare room was a bit cold without your body pressed against mine," he murmured. She clicked on the email attachment and images started to fill the screen, and with it memories of all the hard work they had put in, as well as feelings of elation when they nailed the lift the first time. And watching it now, she gasped, tears brimming on her lashes at the beauty of the two of them dancing together on screen. "It's perfect," she sighed. "Yes, I'm pretty pleased with it. I hope we get picked," Mitch said. "So what time shall I aim to get to your college?" "Oh, about 3:30, as we have practice in the hall at 4, so it will give us half an hour together before then." As Charlotte dived under the covers later that night, she yawned, but was determined to read a bit more of the diaries before the weekend, so that she could discuss everything with Mitchell. She scanned through the next few entries and found one of the letters marking a page, stopping there and starting to read. "Dear Diary, Thursday the 24th of November 1988. As I returned from college, I hoped there would be a letter waiting for me from James. The wait between replies seemed to be stretching a bit longer, but I put it down to his new job being much more demanding. I smiled as I entered the hallway and saw the familiar cream envelope and spiky writing that could only belong to my love. Lying down on my bed, I couldn't wait to hear his silent words talking to me from the page in my hands. "Dear Stephanie, in the past few weeks I've been thinking very deeply about our relationship and have come to the conclusion that it would be best if we split up. I was trying to work up the courage to tell you the last time we were together, so it could be face to face, as I feel I owe you that. But there hasn't been the right moment, or if there was, I was too much of a coward. Tears that fell when I left you standing in the driveway were genuine tears of anger that I'd failed to do this, and have had to resort to words in a letter, and tears of regret that we can no longer be together. You've been the best girlfriend a man could ever hope to find in a lifetime. To feel that I made you grow up too quickly, and therefore have not given you the chance to date a few more boys your own age, as I was your first. I am also aware that you have hopes and dreams of our relationship becoming more permanent in the next year, as you talk of learning to drive, colleges in Warwickshire, and of a daughter called Charlotte. This scared me to death, as there are so many more things that can be accomplished before talk of marriage and children should ever be considered, even between two adults who love each other. Finally, the distance between us is proving to be a big problem, especially now as you're studying media and enjoying your shifts on hospital radio. My job in the fire service is extremely demanding, and working around your study and my shifts means we are seeing each other less and less. Keeping our relationship growing under these difficult circumstances would take a lot of hard work and effort on both our parts. I also know how much our parting each time we are together makes you crumble. I've seen your tears and I want to stop them so much, but I know I can't. I hope that you're mature enough to understand my reasons for breaking things off between us, and that perhaps we can remain friends. Fondest regards, James. I held the letter as tears streamed down my cheeks and dropped slowly onto his words. Perhaps if I cried enough they would disappear, and it would all be a bad dream that I could wake up from. Then I felt anger, so I picked up the phone and dialed his number, my hand shaking so much as I tried to choke back the sobs that were coming from deep within me. Pam answered the phone. Hi, Pam. Can I speak to James? Yes, I'll just shout him for you. Are you okay? Pam said, worry in her voice. Yes, I just need to speak to James, I stammered, holding back the tears. I waited a few seconds and then I heard his voice. Hi, Stephanie, I guess you got my letter, he answered. A hint of nervousness tinged his voice. Yes, I whispered as tears engulfed me and I started to cry heavily down the line. Steph, please don't cry. I'm really sorry that I had to tell you like that. But why? I mumbled. I've told you why in the letter. I know, but I love you. I will always love you. Till the end of time, remember? I managed to say before I let the tears take over. You'll find someone else. You're very attractive, intelligent and sexy. His voice trailed off into the distance. But I don't want anyone else. I want you, I shouted, trying desperately to make my words change his mind. There was silence and I worried that he'd hung up the phone, but I could still hear him breathing as he waited. Are you still coming down this weekend? I stuttered. Well, I don't really know. Please come. I need to talk to you in person, face to face. You at least owe me that. I hoped that once he saw me again and was in my arms, these thoughts would leave him and he would once more be mine. Well, he paused. Okay then, I'll come and see you and we can sort everything out. Bye. I was about to say I love you, but the line had already died. I replaced the receiver and picked up the letter, reading it once more and then laying on my bed, crying for all I was worth. I cried until no more tears would come, and then I just sobbed, dry, hollow coughs that hurt my chest. I just about managed to shout down to Mum and tell her that I wasn't feeling well and was just going to sleep it off. I changed for bed, and then before I climbed beneath the covers I put my stereo on and let the music on the mixtape waft around the room. It didn't calm me, as slowly the real hot tears of my grief trickled down my cheeks and landed silently on the pillow. As dreams eventually captured me, I recalled the moment we first met at the pool and our first kiss beneath the water, the first time he touched me and the perfect gift I bestowed on him for his 21st. All the amazing times we had spent together haunted me. I was once again standing in his garden in the moonlight, except this time I was naked and alone. I searched for him between the branches of the trees. They reached out for me, trying to hold me tight as they turned into the hands and fingernails of a witch called Felicity. Her face twisted as she claimed James from my outstretched arms. I woke in a cold sweat and realised it was just a bad dream. I climbed out of bed and crossed the room to my drawers, looking inside to find a shirt James had left behind when he last stayed. I'd forgotten to take it over the last time I'd seen him, but I was glad now as I shrugged it over my shoulders. Once my hand slipped through the cuffs, I pulled it up and breathed in. The faint scent of him clung to the collar as I went over to the window seat and looked out into the sky. The stars still shone there, but they were so far away. How was I going to carry on? What was the point of living without James in my life? Friday the 25th of November, 1988. I woke with a start to discover I'd fallen asleep on the window seat, my head resting on the cold window pane. It was still dark outside, so I crossed back to my bed and pulled my pink elephant toy close. I kept James's shirt on and then drifted back off until my alarm woke me. I stepped out of bed and looked in my mirror, realising I couldn't face college today. especially as James was going to be coming over, as he'd promised on the phone last night. I wandered downstairs and discovered Mum had already left for work, so I only had to see Dad. "College today?" he asked as I poured a cup of coffee and sat down at the table. "Not today," I lied. "I'm going to do some work at the hospital before James arrives this evening." I thought this would be a great way to take my mind off what was already going to be the second worst day of my life. I'd already experienced the worst yesterday. On the bus I tried to take my mind off James, but the words in the letter continued to float around endlessly. The white corridors of the hospital seemed to calm me a little as I wandered along towards the studio. It was so closed off in my mind that I realised I was lost. As I felt panic rising inside me, I saw a bench and took the time to sit down and try to think calmly. It was no good because tears started to bubble under my eyelids, and as I scoured through my bag for a tissue, I didn't notice Mark striding down the corridor until he sat down. "Here, you can have my hanky," Mark said. "Mark," I said, looking up through tears, "thank goodness it's you." "Are you okay, Steph?" "Yeah, I got lost," I mumbled as I wiped back the tears. "Is that all?" he probed. "No, but I can't talk about it yet," I replied. I thought some time in the studio with Jack would help. I offered Mark his hanky back. "No, you keep it. I think you might need it more than me today," he said, and I looked up into his kind green eyes. "Thanks, Mark," I replied as I stood up and we walked along the corridor, taking a left turn back into familiar territory. "I'll be okay now," I said as we paused by the double doors. "See you soon, Steph," Mark said, reaching out to give my hand a squeeze. "If you get lost again, don't worry, I'll find you." I smiled weakly and pushed open the doors to the studio. Jack smiled up at me and I seemed to lose my tears as the music brought me back to life. In the end I didn't say anything to Jack about James and just threw myself into the work that needed to be done. It was only on the way back to Ross that I started to think about the weekend ahead and what I was going to do when I saw James again. As I opened the door, Mum was the first to pop her head through the kitchen door. "James phoned and said he won't be able to get here till tomorrow." "Oh," I replied, wondering if he was going to be a coward and not turn up at all. I put on a brave face and sat through tea and some television with my parents before turning in early. In the safety of my room, I put George Michael's Faith album on the turntable and lay in bed. Hardly any tears fell, except during Father Figure, when the lyrics "Till the End of Time" set me off. Those had been the words we had used throughout our relationship. When sleep claimed me, there were no dreams or nightmares, just emptiness. Charlotte yawned and put the diary down, replacing it with her mobile phone. She quickly tapped a goodnight message to Mitch and was rewarded with one back. It was emotionally hard work reading the diaries, but Charlotte knew she had to finish them, no matter how difficult it was, as it might lead to her mum finally being happy again, and the same for Mitchell's dad. Closing her eyes, she dreamed of being in the same garden, apple blossom on the trees as she danced through them with Mitchell. So, I hope you're really enjoying the story. It is getting a bit emotional now. And if you want to go on and read ahead, you can download it for free from my website, which is www.audrinalane.co.uk, or you can help a poor writer out and buy a copy from Amazon, as the Kindle versions are only 99p or about $1.40, I think. Or if you love a paperback, and they do look rather splendid, those can also be bought on Amazon, or if you want a signed one, please get in touch with me and I'm happy to do that for you and send it out. Anyway, until next week, it's bye for now.